So much of current research shows the importance of emotional intelligence in business and leadership. Yet, we still live in a cause and effect world where our actions determine the results that we get. So, how do we balance that, what we do, with how we feel about what we do? That's what I'm going to talk about in this episode. Hey everyone, welcome back. I am Mike Sutton with bebuildhave.com, and I work with first generation business leaders who are getting burned out on all the doing and ready to just start being happy and successful in their businesses. A friend of mine sent me a link yesterday to a Keith Cunningham talk. And Keith Cunningham, if you don't know, is the guy that Rich Dad was based on in Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it was a really interesting talk. I'll put a link to it in the show notes for the episode. But one of the things that he said is that business and investing is an intellectual sport. And that where a lot of people go wrong is that they end up making emotional decisions. And I thought, yeah, I totally agree with that. But if that's true, why do I spend so much time talking about emotional health and the emotional side of business? If it's an intellectual sport, why is emotional intelligence so important? And as with so many things when it comes to emotional health, the answer is a little bit counterintuitive. But at the core of it is that you can't control your emotions if you don't understand them. And the reality is, it's attempting to control emotions that's causing the problem. If you have good emotional health, that enables you to make good intellectual decisions. But if you struggle with emotional health, if you find yourself feeling a lot of anxiety, self-doubt, low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, imposter syndrome, this kind of stuff, then in trying to control that and put it aside to make good intellectual decisions, you actually make an even more of an emotional decision. Because you're so focused on not letting the decision be emotional, it becomes even more emotional. Because the more you force yourself not to be emotional, the more emotional you end up being. And it really goes along with this idea, you've probably heard the quote that says, "What you resist persists." The more you try to resist that emotional influence, the more you're being influenced emotionally. But if you can develop good, strong emotional health, that opens you up to make decisions that are not driven by emotion. And the reason for that is because then you have nothing to prove in your decisions. You're not trying to protect yourself from injury. You're not trying to protect yourself from being disappointed. You're not putting your identity at risk with your decisions. Who you are is solid and stable. You know you're going to be okay. You're free to make whatever decision is the most appropriate decision for the situation. And it allows your pride and ego to remain intact. And really, this is what sets you up for not being attached to the outcome. If you're attached to the outcome, what's underneath that is the belief that somehow the outcome says something about me. I'm not good enough, I'm successful, or I'm a failure. And if you don't need that, if you don't need the outcome to prove something about you, if you have the emotional health to know that you are worthy, good enough, gonna be okay, then nothing in the outcome can sway that, can push you off of that. And so this really is the root, the foundation of detaching from the outcome. And this is where you can make a good intellectual decision. But it's got to be based on emotional health. So if you're on this journey to try and develop the positive emotional energy that lets you make good good intellectual decisions rather, then this is really the focus of my 20-minute guided meditation to help cultivate that positive emotional energy that puts you in a good, healthy emotional space to make good, strong intellectual decisions, to be unattached from the results, and to really just grow your business without getting so wrapped up in, am I a success or a failure? If you'd like to get a copy of that 20-minute guided meditation, you can just email me, mike@bebuildhave.com, and I'd be happy to send it to you right away. No hassles. And if you enjoy the episode, please share it. That's the only way this show grows, is if awesome people like you share it with other awesome people. So head over to my Facebook page or head over to the website and find your favorite episode and just share it with your friends and share it with any business owners you know who need to hear the message. Until we speak again, be the person, build the business, and have the successful life that you want.